Have you ever found yourself trapped in the past, unable to move on from a former love no matter how hard you try? You wake up in the morning and for a few split seconds you're fine, until you remember that you've lost a person you love the most. A tide of emotional pain hits, and it feels as if you're living in a nightmare. If that sounds like you are not alone. In this video, I'll uncover why moving on is so challenging and provide practical steps to help you navigate through this complex and painful territory. I'm Dr. Arya, a psychologist specializing in mindset and resilience. I coach my clients, from Academy Award winners to global business leaders, to find the calm amidst life's storms. Like you, I'm also someone who's experienced deep heartache and pain. I know how tough it can be, but I also know that it's possible to reach a place of acceptance and inner peace. I've shared my personal experiences on the podcast Diary of a CEO with Steve Bartlett. If you've heard the story already, forgive me, and if not, I'll keep it relatively short. A few years ago, my wife, who I'd been with for 10 years at the time and married for 5, let me know that she'd been having an affair with a man from work and that she was pregnant with his child. As you can imagine, it felt as if my world had fallen apart. Today, I'll share the hurdles I overcame and, more importantly, the steps I took so that you too can regain control of your life and move on the path of healing. The first reason you're struggling to get over your ex is that you're still emotionally attached. The lingering emotional connection to an ex-partner makes complete sense. You've shared experiences, feelings, and dreams with this person. Now, the mind tries to resist letting go of an emotional bond. Scientific research has shown that rejection in romantic relationships can activate the same parts of the brain that physical pain does. It truly does hurt, and it explains why it feels so hard to let go. Step 1 is to deconstruct your mental model. Our minds create a mental model of the world. This internal map guides our perception of ourselves, others, and the world around us. It's the lens through which we understand and interpret reality. Whenever I was with my ex-wife, my mind had integrated into my mental model over a number of years that I was in a loving relationship with a faithful partner, and it had developed beliefs that we'll have children together one day and we'll be a couple until death do us part. When a relationship ends, the clash between our internal model, where the relationship still exists, and the external reality, where the relationship has ended, can lead to immense suffering. Zen teaches us about the impermanence of life, encouraging acceptance of the flux of existence. In this context, deconstructing and updating our mental model is like flowing with the river of life, accommodating the ebb and flow, the beginnings and the ends. I know that you might be facing a reality that you don't want to accept, but acceptance is the only road to liberation. Naturally, it takes time for the mind to catch up with the reality. However, we can also help our mind along the way. First, acknowledge the change. We have to accept that the relationship has ended and that it's natural to feel a sense of loss. I would often remind myself of the facts of the situation, that I'm no longer in a relationship with my wife and that she's chosen to create a family with another man. It's not about trying to create pain or punish yourself. It's about continually seeing and living in reality. Now, it's important to separate judgments from facts. A judgment could be, she's an awful person, I can't handle this, or I'll never find love again. A fact would be, this person has left the relationship, this person is not willing to make the relationship work anymore, I'm now single, and so on. Initially, it takes conscious effort for our mind to deconstruct this mental model. We can also take actions that deepen our acceptance. I remember the day after I found out the news, my brother Cyrus put his arm around my shoulders and walked me out of the home where I lived with my wife. I was going to stay with him at his apartment. I didn't want to leave the house because that was another layer of acceptance of the current reality. And it's as if any energy seemed to drain from my legs as my body didn't want to move. And he literally had to carry me 10 feet from the front door and into the taxi to the train station. At one point when we were on the train, he pointed to my wedding ring and asked if I thought I should still wear it. Tears began to stream down my face. Removing the wedding ring was another act of acceptance. It's important you take your own actions in your own time, and to know that it's okay to consciously choose when not to take steps in line with your new reality. The key part is awareness. Now, you might not wear a wedding ring or be able to stay with someone else, but there will be little actions of acceptance you can take, like changing the contact name of the person on your phone so it isn't that cute little nickname anymore, or taking down or changing photographs of you both together. Updating your mental model isn't an overnight process, so please be patient with yourself. And with each deeper level of acceptance, a deeper level of emotional pain is released. which is why the second step is to create space for your feelings. In the aftermath of a breakup, the emotional landscape can be like a storm of anger, hurt, sadness, despair, and hopelessness. Intense emotions can be overwhelming, tempting us to deny or suppress them. Yet the path to healing lies not in avoidance, but in acceptance. Zen teaches us to feel our emotions without mental judgment. Rather than questioning why or how long you'll feel this way, try to stay open to your feelings. Feelings only pass once they've been felt. Now, there may be a lot of emotion. I cried for hours each day for months because there was so much sadness. It can be helpful to find somewhere where you can be alone with your feelings. It could be a quiet corner in your home, a spot in a park or on a beach. In this space, allow yourself to feel without censoring or critiquing your emotions. I'd walk through Hyde Park in London and literally just allow the tears to fall. Music is another tool to connect with and process our feelings. It's amazing how the right melody can mirror our emotional state, enabling an emotional release. A study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that listening to sad music can elicit feelings of comfort and consolation. So don't shy away from using music to resonate with your emotions. It can be a therapeutic element of your healing journey. In case you're wondering, my brother introduced me to Worry by Jack Garrett, and that was a song that I had on repeat. You can channel your emotions in whatever constructive way works for you, whether that's sharing your feelings with a sister or a friend, journaling your thoughts, painting your feelings, or sculpting your journey. Creating a physical manifestation of what's within is a powerful way to release your emotions. Remember, creating space for your feelings isn't about fostering negativity. Rather, it's about honoring your journey, providing a safe harbor for your emotions to dock, and enabling the healing process. In this acceptance lies resilience and the strength to navigate through the turbulent waters of emotional recovery. Step 3 is to be kind to yourself. In times of heartache, the most profound healing stems from self-compassion. It's crucial to remember to be kind to yourself as you navigate through the difficult terrain of emotions. In the words of Buddha, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Practicing self-compassion involves acknowledging your pain, avoiding self-criticism, and showing yourself the same kindness and understanding you would offer a dear friend. For me, this involved going back to basics, ensuring I had a few balanced meals each day, that I slept enough, that I went to the gym regularly, and I spent time with my close friends. Self-compassion isn't a one-size-fits-all concept. It's about finding what resonates with you and promotes kindness towards yourself, whether that's replacing self-criticism with encouraging self-talk, carving out time for the activities you love, reading a book, running a bath, anything to nourish your spirit. Research by psychologist Kristen Neff has shown that individuals who practice self-compassion tend to have lower levels of anxiety and depression. So let go of self-judgment, embrace self-kindness, and remind yourself that it's okay to grieve and it's okay to feel hurt. In this self-kindness, you'll find a reservoir of strength for your healing journey. If you're finding this content useful so far, hit like and subscribe right now so you don't miss my next video. The second reason you might be struggling is that you've lost part of your identity. In a relationship, we often find ourselves forming a shared identity with our partner, where the lines of individuality blur. It's understandable. You build dreams together, create shared experiences, and become an integral part of each other's lives. However, when the relationship ends, it can feel as if a part of you has been extracted, leaving a void. So what can we do when we feel this? Step 1 is to embrace solitude. In the wake of a relationship ending, you might feel an emptiness in the spaces once filled by your partner. It's important during this time to embrace solitude, not as a state of loneliness, but as an opportunity for self-discovery and growth. The ancient philosopher Lao Tzu said, "Ordinary men hate solitude, but the master makes use of it, embracing his aloneness, realizing he is one with the whole universe." Solitude can be a powerful ally, allowing you to reconnect with yourself, to explore your interests, strengths, and passions, to set new goals. One way to think about it is to spend time with yourself as you would with a good friend. Go to a food market, cycle by a river, bake some cookies, treat yourself to a spa, or even just enjoy a cup of tea in silence. In these moments of solitude, you can learn to appreciate your own company and gradually rebuild your identity independent of any relationship. In my own journey, I found myself faced with a mirror that demanded introspection. I had to rediscover who I was as a man and someone with their own interests and aspirations. The truth is that you have an incredible opportunity to place a spotlight back on yourself. I realized that during the course of my relationship, I'd strayed far from my authentic self, bending and morphing in a bid to make my wife happy. This part of the journey can involve a return, a homecoming to your true self. So I decided to shake things up. I embraced my independence, and the first step was getting my motorbike license. Whatever you choose to do, it will stand for more than the action itself. It will symbolize your pursuit of self-exploration and personal freedom. Step 2 is to expand your social circle. While solitude is a beautiful space for self-reflection, we are inherently social creatures. There's a unique joy and comfort in the company of others, a shared sense of belonging that feeds our emotional well-being. Balance your time alone by nurturing your social connections. Catch up with old friends, bond with your family, or step out of your comfort zone and meet new people. Feel free to try salsa classes like I did to expand your social circle and bring a fresh perspective to life. Engaging in social activities that you love will uplift your spirit and affirm your worth. Remember, as you connect with others, you're also fostering a greater understanding of your own identity. In shared laughter, profound conversations, and even in moments of silence, you're continually rediscovering yourself. Step 3 is to create a new vision. In the tapestry of life, each thread of experience adds color and depth to who we are. A relationship ending might seem like a tear in the tapestry, but it's also a space to weave new threads. Now it's time to create a new vision for your life. Setting personal goals can serve as guiding stars, leading you towards the person you aspire to be. I worked abroad for half a year and even experimented with being a digital nomad for a while, something I wouldn't ever have done when I was married. Whether it's a career ambition, a fitness goal, or a dream to travel, these new goals will fuel your journey towards rediscovering and rebuilding your individual identity. The third barrier to moving on is you're struggling to forgive. Finding the strength to forgive when you've been wronged may feel like standing at the bottom of Everest. It's an uphill task, especially when the wounds are deep and scars remain. And when it's with someone with whom you've shared your heart, your dreams, your vulnerabilities, the struggle can be all the more intense. Harboring resentment and anger might seem like a way to validate your hurt, to maintain a sense of control. But the truth is that these emotions hold you hostage, chaining you to a past that's no longer your present. As the ancient Buddhist proverb goes, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Science backs its wisdom, showing that holding on to resentment leads to stress and negatively impacts mental and physical health. So through forgiveness, you're not only releasing your past, but more importantly, you're setting yourself free to move on and heal. Step 1 is choosing to forgive. Choosing forgiveness isn't about hastily burying the past or pretending that everything is fine. If you're trying to forgive when the pain is still raw and the hurt is still deep, it may be too soon. Each person has the right to choose if and when they want to forgive another. But before you can forgive, you need to confront your pain, acknowledge it, validate it, and allow yourself to experience and release it. Ignoring or belittling your hurt only fuels resentment and prolongs the healing process. Now, it's important that I add, whenever you're ready to make the intention to forgive, you're not excusing the actions that caused your pain. Instead, you're making a conscious decision to free yourself from the heavy chains of bitterness and continue the journey of healing. Step 2 is to cultivate empathy. The gateway to forgiveness is understanding. The foundation of understanding is empathy. Empathy is the ability to step into someone else's shoes, to understand their feelings and perspectives. It's about seeing the world through their eyes, even for a moment. Once you've processed most of the emotional hurt, the second step involves trying to view the situation from your ex's perspective, as challenging as that may sound. Now, this doesn't mean that you're justifying or excusing their actions. While I don't condone having an affair when you're married, in order to forgive my ex-wife, I had to understand her. I had to try and comprehend why would she take such drastic actions, especially ones that weren't aligned with the values she spoke about. I had to try and figure out what emotions drove her decisions. Seldom do people commit harmful acts out of inherent malevolence. As they say, fear is the root of all evil. In her case, I believe that one day she woke up and found herself in a marriage that lacked true connection and intimacy. And the thought of staying in that relationship for another 20, 30, or 40 years scared her and was a major reason behind her actions. Do I agree with her actions? No. Would I recommend them? No. But do I understand them? Yes. As Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh once said, forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It means understanding. Cultivating empathy allows you to understand and to respond to even deep past hurts with wisdom and compassion, fostering healing and paving the way for forgiveness. Step 3 is to practice forgiveness. Practicing forgiveness may be the most challenging yet liberating step in the process of moving on. Forgiveness is indeed a journey, not a destination. It's not a one-time act, but a continuous process that requires patience and compassion. From a scientific perspective, studies from the Stanford Forgiveness Project indicate that acts of forgiveness can reduce stress, improve physical health, and enhance feelings of optimism. How can you practically forgive someone? Consider writing a forgiveness letter to your ex-partner. This is a cathartic practice that can help you articulate your feelings and seek closure. Remember, you don't even need to send this letter. It's an exercise for your own healing. When feelings of resentment arise, instead of pushing them away, acknowledge them and gently remind yourself of your decision to forgive. Meditation can be a powerful tool. Try forgiveness meditation, which involves holding in mind the person who's wronged you and actively sending them wishes of peace and happiness. You can even adapt to create your own forgiveness practice. During lockdown, nearly a year after I found out about the affair, I ran along this beach a few times a week. I would imagine my ex-wife, and I said out loud, "I forgive you. I'm sending you my love. I wish you all the best for the future." In the beginning, I could feel this tension inside me when I said this. I didn't judge it. I didn't try to change it. I simply created space for the tension and let it go. And the next time I was running, I would do the same. And one day I noticed that there wasn't any tension anymore, only a deep peace. And I smiled. My yoke was easy and my burden was finally light. Remember, forgiveness isn't about excusing someone else's actions or forgetting what's happened. It's about liberating yourself from the chains of resentment that tie you to the past and stepping into the freedom of your present and future. The Buddha said that holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Forgiveness is the ultimate gift you can give to yourself. Moving on is a journey, and we will all navigate it at our own pace. Healing from heartbreak takes time, it takes patience, it takes self-compassion. As you journey through these steps, from deconstructing your mental model, making space for your feelings, creating a new vision, and cultivating forgiveness, you will discover your strength and resilience. In the words of the Dalai Lama, no matter how hard the past, you can always begin again. The end of a relationship can be the beginning of a journey to self-discovery, growth, and inner peace. Just as I found a path through the storm, so too can you. Take these steps, walk them at your own pace, and remember, you are not alone. And as you move forward, may you find healing, acceptance, and ultimately, the peace you seek.